Hello everyone. By now, you might have seen the announcements from Trump White House about the huge increase in the H-1 visa fees. And this is causing waves both among the immigrant community, the tech workers and tech companies. And I thought I'll spend a few minutes reflecting on what, when, how, and a few questions about this. But before that, let's see what this really is all about. A brief clip.
We need workers, we need great workers, and this pretty much ensures that that's what's going to happen. I think, Sean, do you agree with that?
Well, they're $100,000 per year. So the whole idea is no more will these big tech companies or other big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee. So it's just not economic. If you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land. Train Americans, stop bringing in people to take our jobs. That's the policy here, $100,000 a year for H-1B visas, and all of the big companies are on board. We've spoken to them about the gold card.
They love it. They love it. They really love it. They need it.
H-1Bs are sometimes used by people already in the country legally on other visas or student visas. Does this apply to them or to renewals, or does it only apply to people applying for the first time from abroad?
Renewals, first times, the company needs to decide, is that person valuable enough to have $100,000 a year payment to the government, or they should head home and they should go hire an American. The whole idea, it's annual, and it's for total, it can be a total of 6 years. So $100,000 a year, so either the person is very valuable to the company and America, or they're going to depart and the company's gonna hire an American, and that's the point of immigration. Hire Americans and make sure the people coming in are the top people.
As you saw in this video, the announcement is huge and targeted at tech workers, tech companies. And keep in mind the key point here, it is $100,000 per H1 worker per year as an extra fees that the employer has to pay to the US government. Till recently, till this announcement, the fees was negligible. It was only about $750 to $800 as a fee, plus the filing fees, less than about $1,000, $2,000 to file an H-1 visa, get an employer here for 4 to 5 years. Now this has changed. $100,000 per year on top of the salary of an employee that you're going to bring in hire in the US. This is huge. So let's look at the Q&A about this.
So what is this latest Trump announcement about?
Okay, this latest Trump announcement impacts H1 workers. So people coming to America on H1 or H-1B as it's called, work visa. It directly impacts them. So an employer has to deposit $100,000 per year per employee to the US government. And this is on top of the salary that's going to be paid. So let's assume you hire an exceptional tech worker, pay $150,000 or $200,000 a year. So effectively the cost to the company is that $150,000 or $200,000 plus $100,000 to the US government. So say Apple or Google that hire an exceptional talent paying $350K USD salaries plus ESOPs plus bonus will have to fork out almost $500,000. Now this is a game changer, especially for the companies at the mid and bottom level that simply cannot afford this extra fees. Because if you're paying say $80,000 or $90,000 or $100,000 to an employee on H1, you add another $100,000. So the cost to the companies almost doubled. So in that case, they will think I'm better off hiring an American worker a worker who's not specialized in that field, maybe training them, spending maybe 20-30K and paying the regular salary rather than paying that huge fees.
Whom does it not impact?
Now, this is a very important question. Whom does it not impact? This announcement is primarily about those on H1, H-1B visa, work visas. It does not impact those coming on student visas, on F1, J1, or business visas, B1, or sponsored as a relative of an immigrant, or on any other kind of visa. It is only currently targeted at H1 work visa holders.
How does it impact students?
Now, this announcement does not directly impact students, because students have a separate category of visa called F1 or J1 that allows them to come here, study at an American university, and at the end of that studies, they are allowed optional practical training, OPT, for 12 to 36 months depending on the field of study. Now, while it does not directly impact, the uncomfortable truth here is that 95 to 99% of the students coming to America to study want to eventually come here, settle down, which is to say, eventually find a work in an American company and continue to work here, live the American dream. That dream is no longer going to be practical, because if you are a fresh graduate with maybe 1 or 2 years on your OPT, no company is going to spend another $100,000 on top of your salary to hire a fresh graduate. They are going to first look at American students, American born or green card holders or natives, not foreign workers or those who have come on work visas and need visa sponsorship. So companies are going to take a really hard look, which means students who aspire to eventually work in America are going to rethink, is it worth spending $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 on a 2-year degree program in America, or doing a master's or a PhD to eventually throw that away and come back to their home country and not be able to work in America. So that rethinking is going to start happening. It is going to impact that category of students in American universities, and that impact is going to be pretty remarkable.
How does it impact employers trying to hire foreign workers?
We saw earlier that the impact to the employer is pretty clear. The employer has to budget for $100,000 per year in addition to the salary of the employee and the fees payable for the H-1 visa. So essentially adds $100,000 per year cost to the company, and this cost is not a small amount. Over say 3 to 4 years, it's almost $500,000. Companies are going to rethink whether it's really viable to bring a foreign worker to America and pay that extra fees to the government.
How will it impact offshore companies like Infosys, TCS, Wipro that hire tens of thousands of employers and send them on work visas?
The impact to these software services companies is going to be remarkable. Because I know, I used to work for a software services company called Infosys. And at that point in time, Infosys, along with TCS, Wipro, Accenture, even IBM, their services divisions, used to hire tens of thousands of employees in India, sponsor their H-1 visa and send them to America. And these were mid-caliber IT professionals, not the cream of the cream. So they would be paid maybe $80,000, $100,000, $120,000 a year. Now what this means is it will instantly add the cost of $100,000 per year to that salary that the say services company is going to pay that employee. So it's going to make the business model unviable. software services companies will think, is it really worth spending, say, $150, $200, $300,000 for an H-1 visa holder to work in America?
To the existing H-1 visa holders.
Now, this is currently clear as mud. As with any announcement from the Trump administration that came out recently, you just get the high points, the highlights, the talking points. And the talking points is what we just looked at. What is unclear is what happens to the OPTs, optional practical training students currently working in American companies. What happens to H-1 visas or H-1B visas currently under processing? And what happens to the H-1 visa holders currently living and working in America? There are almost 500,000 to 800,000 of them in America. Is it going to instantly add to the fees for them? It is unclear. But what is certain is any new employee coming with a new H-1 visa is going to be impacted, and it's going to impact the company. So that's all we know for now.
Do you think the candidates for H-1B, they need to be really exceptional for companies to sponsor them?
Excellent question. Yes, this is obviously the intent of the government. As you saw in the announcement from the Trump administration, they want exceptional talent to come on H-1 visa, which means, say, if you are an AI, ML engineer or a scientist working for Google or for Perplexity, and the company decides, I just cannot develop that algorithm without that engineer, and I need that engineer sitting in San Jose or in Washington or in Seattle with the rest of my team and not in Bangalore, then they will think, yes, it's worth spending that $100,000 per year in addition to that humongous salary that's already paid to these software engineers. So that's going to be a game changer.
What happens to the jobs offshore, IT jobs offshore? Does it impact that?
Right now, it is unclear because, again, a lot of these multinational companies send their work offshore to the offshore services companies, but they have a cross movement of employees coming and going. Like we said in the software services companies, people come to America on H-1 visa from these say services companies, come to gather requirements for the projects and take the projects, go back, work with the offshore teams. Now that business model is going to be impacted, at least from a cost perspective. Now, is the services company going to be able to pass on the cost to the client is uncertain, because this is a huge cost.
Does it impact the GCC model?
Right now it is unclear because GCC, as we know, is a global competency center set up by American companies in India or in other low-cost countries outside the US. The intent is to arbitrage the lower cost of labor here. Like a company I used to work for, a medtech company, has GCCs in Hyderabad and Pune. So we hire people in Hyderabad and Pune working with colleagues in America. Now that model is not directly impacted because those employees are not hired on H-1 visas. But longer term, it's anyone's guess if things could change.
Why do you think Trump administration made such an announcement now?
Now, this is anyone's guess as to why now and why this announcement. But if you are in the tech industry and have been seeing the news, just recently the White House had a conclave of high-tech senior executives, executives from Google, Amazon, Facebook. All the major tech companies met with the Trump administration, with Trump, for a dinner. This was probably discussed at that point in time. Trump has been voicing concerns about the misuse of H-1 visa for a very long time. and they wanted ways to tighten the screws, and they wanted to do it in a very vocal manner. And it seems like this announcement is just the announcement is remarkable. So these are the FAQs. If you have any other question or any other comment, feel free to add to this discussion, and let's continue this dialogue.